Hello, everyone, and welcome to Becoming Miss Self-Sufficient. Amanda here. As you saw from the thumbnail, we are talking about something completely different from my typical content. We are going to be talking about the missing persons, Dylan Rounds. Dylan is... Honestly, I have hit stop on recording this now like 5 times. I re-recorded this intro because I don't even know what I'm doing. I just want to get the word out and information out about Dylan. And I'm trying to record this as best as I possibly can and as professionally as I possibly can in my garage at 2:28 a.m. And all I can think about is how Dylan could be out there in the cold, without his boots, alone, and just want to be home right now. I am a mother, and the sheer thought of my child being missing now for 3 weeks. Dylan is now missing for 3 weeks. Look at him. Look at that face. 3 weeks. His mother has had no clue where her child is. His father has had no clue where his son is. Dylan could be out there in the desert right now, cold, shoeless, jacketless, exposed to the elements, by himself. Who knows? He could be hurt. Basically, I have been reading everything that any one of you can get your hands on yourselves, that anyone can look up themselves. I have not done any extreme deep diving because there isn't that information out yet. Dylan has only been missing now for 3 weeks. 3 weeks now. The search has been on for him. Or, I don't want to say the lack of a search. I want to say the lack of government agencies fine-tooth combing what information and what potential evidence they have already had the opportunity to collect. I want to say that. I want to be careful here on my verbiage. Okay, let's get into this. Dylan Rounds, 19 years old. He is 160 pounds, right around 160 pounds. Brown hair, brown eyes. Absolutely adorable. Like, look at that picture. He is absolutely adorable. Now, this young man, to me, listening to his mother talk about him, just sounds like the dream son in my mind personally. I feel like I can safely say that because I don't have a son, so I can't have this biased against me. But a dream young man. Candace Cooley, by the way, so that you know who his mother is. Candace Cooley talks about her son as being born in the wrong time period, the wrong era. He is an old soul. He is an old, gentle soul, she said. He's not really into video games. He doesn't really even know how to play video games, which I completely appreciate that. But he doesn't do social media or isn't heavy into social media and maintaining a social media presence. Love that too. But Dylan's just a gentle soul. His goals were just to farm and develop his land. He did end up buying off the farm from his grandfather that he now maintains and works and is trying to turn around and have crops on. This was his grandfather's farm. I literally have no clue what I'm doing, so I feel like I'm all over the place. I have notes up here on the side of the screen where you can't see, like right here on the side of the screen, clothesline pinned to my computer screen, so that I have basically, I guess, like a timeline here to help keep me in track, and I'm all over the place. Last time that Dylan was actually seen was in Montello, Nevada, at the Saddle Sore Bar and Grill. He got his dinner, he got his meal, paid, went back home because his cell phone pinged in Lucin, Utah later that night, within not that long, actually. I think it was in like an hour or two, but a short time frame after his debit card was used and he was physically seen by patrons there at the bar and grill. That was in Montello, Nevada. So within a short time frame, he's already back on his farm in Lucin, Utah. Okay, there's the state line there. There gives us the two different jurisdictions. From a missing persons standpoint, visual contact was in one state, verbal contact was in another state because his cell phone had pinged verbally whenever his grandmother called him in Lucin, Utah. So there's the two jurisdictions there. You got the Nevada, you got the Utah over here. Now, currently, as of the 15th, mind you, it is 3 a.m. when I am recording this, so it is the 16th. As of yesterday, on the 15th, the FBI is confirmed pulled into the missing person case for Dylan Rounds, as well as Idaho jurisdiction as well. So I want to go through this evidence that I pulled together here. As I stated before, I'm no expert. I just pulled this stuff out of interviews with Candace Cooley, that is Dylan's mother, and from Justin, Dylan's father. This is just information that I have pulled together. Online articles, interviews with the family, press releases by the sheriff's departments that are involved now, currently as of June 16th, and it's now 3:30 a.m. As of June 15th from the last report, there are 3 agencies that are involved. That is the Box Elder County Sheriff's Department of Utah and the Elko County Sheriff's Department of Nevada, the county I am closest to, as well as an Idaho County, I believe that is just above the border, right by Twin Falls. I don't know that county. It was not listed in the article, and I should have taken the time to look it up, and I apologize. If someone knows, please list it in the comments down below. Those 3 sheriff's departments are now involved, as well as, which was reported as of the 15th, just yesterday, because now it's the 16th, 3:30 a.m., the FBI was also involved as well. Now, what I've pulled together so far is, first off, Dylan has been missing verbally, last confirmed on the phone by his grandmother between 6-7 a.m. whenever she called him in the morning. Verbally, she spoke to him on the phone for just a few minutes. He said he was busy. Rain was coming. He needed to deal with covering his crops. He was sad he wasn't going to be able to put in seeds that day because of the coming storms. So he had to get off the phone, and then he would call his grandmother back. That was on May 28th. Okay. The last time Dylan was visually seen and confirmed by debit card payment was on May 26th. We'll come back to that in a minute. That's on the other side of my notes. We'll come to that back. We'll come back to that in a second, because there's some interesting things that happen with the bar and grill that Dylan is last visually seen at on the 26th. So Dylan was last verbally heard from by his grandmother on May 28th around 6-7 a.m. Okay, his cell phone pinged at the tower in Lucin, Utah, where his farm is at, his homestead that he's been developing for the last 3 seasons. Some interesting facts that came out that Candace Cooley, his mother, has talked about that stood out to me personally, that are like little bulletin points I want to keep in my mind, in the forefront of my mind, of recent events that have happened in Dylan's life that we should all be taking note of, and especially an investigation in my mind, which I'm sure they are, but if you follow true crime, you know that there can be balls dropped in investigations. Okay, so I want to be as polite as I can be. Okay, moving on. So, interesting tidbit. Candace is aware that that Dylan had recently fired a farm hand that worked previously for his grandfather and had currently worked for Dylan, but that he had recently let this farmhand go. Candace believed or was under the impression that there was no ill will or bad blood or any animosity from that firing by the let go farmhand, the employee. Okay. So just pocket that piece of knowledge. I'm not saying it comes back up again later. I don't know. But just file that in the back of your mind, because any little fact could mean something big. Okay. Jumping next. This is like a really rural area. I really want to make sure that everyone understands this, that this area is rural. Out here in the rural desert, Utah, Nevada areas, I feel like videos and pictures don't do it justice until like you actually see it for yourself. This is rough terrain, okay? The closest I can say is maybe go watch like an old John Wayne movie. I mean, this terrain is rough. Jagged rocks, washouts, can flood so fast and so easily, like people don't understand. And as I stated before, there were bad storms coming in. It rained really hard and heavy, like hard enough that in evidence is shown that Candace mentions in her interviews that even tracks from his truck were gone, were washed out. The dirt out here. Yeah, you got poof dirt, but when there's rain, you got tracks that last for days. And I mean days. Just days. And the way the rains are out here, because of that poof dirt, whatever tracks are already there whenever we have rains out here, especially a substantial enough rain that they're referring to, it wipes the slate clean. So if Dylan walked off or drove off his truck, or someone drove off his truck and then brought it back, with that heavy rain, if it was consistent after things were parked or movement had happened, those tracks would be washed out. I mean, I can tell you, I've seen it myself. We flood heavy here, okay? It had flooded, not flooded, it had apparently rained that day and night. So that is enough rain that here in our areas, you think it's dry, that it's going to be like a sponge and it's going to soak up the water. No, not really. Not really. It sits on the top and then it floods and it doesn't really compact and soak down in. So it sits there and then it moves. This terrain is really, really rough. You got jagged rocks, you got rattlesnakes, you got, I believe they're called the Gila monsters, the lizards, and they are poisonous. We have them out here in abundance. Rattlers, scorpions, centipedes, bullet ants, fire ants, coyotes that are to the point now, which I notice not a lot of people talk about this, but our coyotes out in these rural areas have crossbred with feral dogs, so much to the point now that our coyotes are big. Like the coyotes that we get in my backyard, we literally always keep a 22 lever action ready to go, because we'll have coyotes come right to the back door. We've had them get our cats before, our chickens, our turkeys. Thankfully, not our dogs. I do have one little pug, so that does really scare me. Don't let him out pretty much unattended. He's so old, he doesn't go very far anyways. But the coyotes out here are dangerous. And because that they have been crossbred, and yeah, it's really rural, but they become accustomed to the people, they're also not afraid of us. You get too close to them, or you somehow stumble upon one, or you just startle it or something. Yeah, they're gonna get you. They're gonna get aggressive. They're scared of us, yes, but not enough. I can tell you, not enough. They're not scared of us enough. We do not go on walks in the backyard without being locked and loaded. Either carrying a 9 or a small 22. No. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Even having the 22 with snake shot for rattlers. Like that's something you gotta have out here. And if you listen to some of the different interviews that I link up on the screen here and that I list down in the description below, you'll see that some of the people that are going to be boots on the ground going out to help with the search party for Dylan, that they even are nervous to not be armed. Not because it's dangerous really by people, but more so the wildlife. The wildlife is dangerous, even in this area as well. They're close enough to mountain ranges and hills and gullies and things like that that they could even have mountain lions out there. I wouldn't be surprised. There's probably, I don't know if there's any reports, I haven't seen anything, but I wouldn't be surprised by that. We have different wildlife that is traversing across our areas and our regions that aren't technically typical for those areas. Wildlife that is moving into more developed areas. And mind you, it is not very developed out here. This town, Lucin, Utah, where Dylan's farm is at, it is so tiny. Justin, Dylan's father, even refers to there only being like 200 maybe people in that town, which I can attest to. These towns are tiny. There's nothing around. Like, there's nothing. It's barren. Which also leads me to be like, when you have such a tiny town like that, and I can tell you personally from where I live, when you have such a tiny town like that, everyone knows everything. Everyone knows everything. And I'm telling you, there are people in that town. Even if they don't know 100% confirmation, there are people in that town that know something. They have speculations and they have their theories, and I bet you their theories are pretty dang close. There are people there that know something, and they're keeping their mouths shut, which is upsetting me. And the family, the friends, the investigators, everyone knows that somebody knows something. I mean, somebody knows something. I don't want to say you don't just disappear anymore. Look at 411, missing 411. People disappear all the time. Rural areas, national parks, all the time. And I also kind of get wondering too, what backs up to Lucin, Utah, right up in there, is a military base. So it's flight restriction as well. They are out there doing active live fire flight drills. The video you are about to watch is sourced from Heavy D Sparks at youtube.com and is only being used for educational and informative means in the search for Dylan Rounds. No disrespect is intended towards the creators and all those who worked on gathering this information and video footage. Please go visit the listed cited sources in the description box below and show them your support in the search for Dylan Rounds. I have increased the volume and reduced the speed of the following clip.
Helicopter 09 Whiskey Clover. Looking to put down here for a minute, and then we're going to be wrapping up our search. Need to head as direct to Wendover as possible for fuel reasons. Do you know when the Alpha restrictions going to be open again? 09 Whiskey, I do have F-35s that are working low level in your direct path, direct Wendover, so I can't get you direct right now. How long will it be before you're asking for direct? It'd be probably within the next, well, as soon as possible, but you tell me. If you do a shutdown for 10 to 15 minutes, it'll probably work out with timing perfectly. Yeah, that gives us plenty of time. I'll be in the air, probably calling you in about 20 minutes again. All right.
Oh, so in 20 minutes, you're going to be live flying, firing live ammo right up there at wherever your targets are at in that rural area. That's what it's like out here. Right up by literally our backyard is Area 6. Not everybody knows about that. Everyone thinks about Area 51. You guys don't have any idea. Some of you probably do, but a lot of you guys don't have any idea how many military bases and military restricted zones we have out here. This was the nuclear test site for the bombs for Nagasaki and Hiroshima. This was where they tested that crap. This is where that's why we have Yucca Mountain. That's why none of us really drink the freaking water out of the water reserves here. Like, all of it. This area is so barren. It's just... And there's a really good chance that Dylan is out there somewhere. He's out there somewhere. So I've already been rambling here for 12 minutes. I want to get back on here. So one thing that does stick out to me is whenever you have these rural areas, and this is still staying on topic, whenever you have these rural areas, you get people who don't have a lot of outlets. I mean, you get people like me on YouTube. You don't have a lot of outlets out here. Okay, there's not a lot to do. So you either do what Dylan does and drive 30 miles across state lines to go have supper at what looked like to me a hole-in-the-wall bar and grill in a teeny tiny town. I mean, nothing against that place. The bar and grill we have here in town literally looks like a hole-in-the-wall crap hole, but it is so good, and it is dirt cheap. It's good home cooking food. It's amazing. But there's nothing to do. All right. They don't have a lot of outlets. You don't got a lot to do out there. You don't have a lot of resources to make money. You don't have a lot of resources to survive in the first place. So with that comes people with addiction issues and destitution. And apparently this area is reported to have a lot of meth addicts and drug addicts. And I can tell you personally, as someone who spent some of my younger years in Texas County, Missouri, at the time that I lived there, that was the second largest meth producing and consuming county in all of America. I can tell you those areas are so dangerous for the locals. For the local clean, drug-free people, they are so dangerous. You see the wrong thing, you hear the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing of something you may or may not have seen or suspect about somebody, and I feel like I'm being biased. Please forgive me if I'm being biased. I really want, first off, to make sure to, if you do have a drug addiction or drug problem or drinking problem, get help. You are loved. You are loved. You are wanted. You are worthy. You need to get help. You're not alone. There are resources that I'm linking down in the description below. Please click on them, call them, check them out, get information. There is help out there for you, okay? There's help out there. You're not alone, all right? I'm not hating on people with addiction. I'm just frustrated because I understand and I've seen firsthand, and I have people in my family who have addiction and have lived with addiction, and it tears you apart and it breaks my heart. But it also frustrates me because I feel like it's a topic that people don't openly talk about and discuss about, okay? So there's my rant. That's done. So far, what has been found were his boots. When his family got there and first looked at his property, his truck was there, locked. His trailer, obviously it was there, it's a trailer, locked, however. It is reported that Dylan never locked his truck and never locked his trailer, which makes me kind of want to be like, okay, you shouldn't have been that way, Dylan. If you know that your area has, like, potential dangers of home invasions or break-ins or things like that, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's why he didn't lock it, because he's like, this stuff never happens here. Maybe that's why. I can understand him not locking his doors, not locking his truck, things like that. At least, if anything, that consistent behavior of his is what helps make it noticeable to family and friends that, okay, here's two incidences, his truck and his trailer being locked when typically they are not. So could that have been somebody else? Who knows? Who knows? But I don't know. That's possible information. So pocket that for later as well. Now, so his trailer's right here, right? His truck's right here, right? You'll see in the video, the picture's right there. His boots, look in this picture in retrospect to the truck and to the trailer where his boots were found. Now, this is about 100 yards away in the opposite direction of his trailer, from his truck, 100 yards away, on like the side of like this mound of dirt. Really, really weird. So the boots were shown to, I believe, his mother, Candace, and his father, Justin. And his mother reported that she saw what looked like a small blood stain on the boots. Okay. The boots were kept. This is what Candace is saying, is that the boots were kept by investigators in the search party to later possibly be used for cadaver dogs. And she specifically said cadaver dogs, not even search dogs. Okay, she said it multiple times. And she even says, that doesn't make sense. Because you don't use physical evidence of the missing person for a cadaver dog to search. The way cadaver dogs work is they smell out the scent of decaying human flesh, of human decay. They are able to distinguish the difference between animal decomposition and human decomposition. So to keep his boots for cadaver dogs doesn't make sense. Why would the search party, not even the investigators, why would the search party specifically say we're keeping these for cadaver dogs? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Second thing, Candace says that these are like the only pair of boots that Dylan owns. That he only ever bought new shoes throughout his entire life, basically, since he could pick out shoes for himself and he was old enough, because she specifically said on multiple instances that she still has the boots from his childhood, like throughout his life. Like, here's the boots he grew into. Because he only bought shoes whenever the first ones had fallen apart beyond repair or use. So why are his boots left 100 yards from his truck on a mound of dirt? No socks, okay. All right, so what? Is Dylan out there walking around the desert in just his socks and his pants and t-shirt, hoodie? Like, no. I can tell you, as I stated before, we have rattlesnakes, scorpions, Gila monsters, bullet ants, fire ants, rough terrain, ragged rocks, cactuses, thorns, tumbleweeds. Like, no. That doesn't make any sense. You're not going to go anywhere without your boots. Makes no sense. So, they kept the boots for cadaver dogs. His truck, okay, we mentioned his truck, right? They got it opened up. Apparently, the truck was released to his parents, and his parents took the truck back to Idaho, near the Twin Falls area where they live at. And whenever I heard that, I literally was just like, how? First off, why? Why did the search party or the investigators, the sheriff's department, even release the truck in the first place? It's a missing persons. Like, why did they release it? Why did they not keep it for evidence? Did they take evidence? Did they already collect evidence? Like, did you collect evidence on site with like a mobile crime scene investigative team? Like, and then just release it to the parents? Like, what? Candace even states in the interview that the seat was too far forward. Dylan is 5'10", 160 pounds. She has gotten in his vehicle before, in his truck before, and anytime she has drove it, she's had to move the seat forward. She stated, but whenever she got into the truck, the seat was perfect for her to fit. And apparently Candace Cooley, his mother, is only, she had said like 5'4", 5'5", like, she's not super tall. She's not that big. So yeah, inside of the cab is now contaminated, at least confirmed by his mother. So who knows now? They have his truck. It's up near the Twin Falls, Idaho area where they live. He was last physically seen and confirmed by debit card being at the Saddle Sore Bar and Grill in Montello, Nevada, about 30 miles from Lucin, Utah, having dinner on the 26th. This is what's interesting. The owner of that bar and grill of Saddle Sore, his name is Curtis. Curtis called in to the Elko County Sheriff's Department emergency operator on May 31st, claiming a hostage situation. What? A hostage situation? What? And then Curtis apparently retracted his statement and his report from the sheriff's department. Makes no sense whatsoever. Apparently, Elko County Sheriff's Department stated that there was no hostage situation and that the report or the call was retracted by the caller, which was Curtis, the owner of this restaurant. What? Now, by this time, just been reported as missing or was just suspected as missing by this time. It's just really weird. I just want to make sure that that is out there. Now, another thing that was brought up is that the last time that Candace had spoken to Dylan, he had told her that the strangest thing has happened. While he was driving home back to his farm or something, a man had come like tumbling out onto the road or near the road or by the road as he was driving out on this rural road, okay? Scraped and bloodied and scratched up and just looked rugged, looked like he had been out in the desert for days, just looked horrible. He told his mother, I didn't give him a ride. He said, no, I didn't give him a ride. Apparently, other people in town of Lucin, Utah, are stating that Dylan did give him a ride. Okay, so apparently it is stated he told his mother one story, he told other people in town another story, because he gave the guy a ride into Lucin, Utah, into town. This is what's really interesting. It's very, very, very odd, because this man, Chase, here's his picture right up here, there's his name, all of that right there. This man was then reported apparently the next day asking for a ride out to Dylan's farm. Apparently no one would give him a ride, or there's a story as well that someone did give him a ride out to Dylan's farm, and that Dylan was there and that they talked or something. These are what people are saying who are talking. These are rumors, mind you. These are allegedly, these are rumors. This is a tiny town. People do talk. They don't talk to outsiders, but they do talk. So they talk amongst themselves. I'm telling you, this is what these tiny towns do. It doesn't matter if you're in a tiny town in like upper state New York or southern Florida or Louisiana. Like, it doesn't matter. Tiny towns, like, people do talk. So these are the speculated rumors that are going around so far. What's really interesting, though, about this Chase character is that Chase has a prior record, as you'll see right here. This is his prior record. This is what came up whenever I just Googled his name. That's all I did. I literally just Googled his name and hit Utah and just went with that. And this is what came up from 2016. Very interesting. Now, Chase is already currently being detained in jail for apparently a complete separate incident. I don't even want to say indictment. Like, I don't even want to say like anything like that or a warrant or anything, because I don't know. It doesn't say. At least it didn't at the time of me doing this research. It didn't say. It just said that Chase is currently being detained already on a separate incident. It's just very interesting. It's very odd. It stands out to me, and I think it's really weird. So, whenever Larry told me about this case last night, it hit me personally. This is a young man who is starting a farm out in the desert. I can tell you personally, from my own gardening and my own homestead, it is hard. This is desolate areas. It is not easy, and this is a man who has to have true passion and dream for what he's doing. His mother has stated multiple times that he was born in the wrong century. He is an old soul. He doesn't even really have an active social media life, doesn't play video games. He just wants to farm. And the last time she had spoke to him, he was so excited because his first crop was just starting to sprout. It hits me personally. It's really sad and it's heart-wrenching. This is a young man that has everything ahead of him. This is very close to us, not personally locally to us, but this is very close to us. I understand the terrain. I understand the difficulties for the search parties, the dangers of exposure and the wildlife and nature, all of that. It hits home. We have people all the time go missing out here. We have people all the time fall victim to foul play, fall victim to the elements, to exposure, to the wildlife. It is a real life threat living out here. I understand the dangers, and I wish everybody understood them, because it's not just a walk in the park. You think it's just wide open spaces out here in the West. And yeah, it is. But it's full of dangers. And the thought that Dylan could be out there right now, just hurt, wanting to get home. It is so cold right now. We turned off our fans. I'm going to be throwing another quilt on the bed tonight because it is so cold. And the sheer thought that Dylan could be out there injured or hurt, no water, no boots, wears his coat, exposed to the elements, that breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart. And it makes me so sad that his mother has no clue, his father has no clue where their baby is. They don't know. My baby, thankfully, thank you God, is tucked into their bed right now. Can see him right here on the baby monitor. Tucked into bed, safe and sound. I'm blessed. I have that blessing of knowing that my child is right there, safe and sound. Let's do whatever we can possibly do to get Dylan home safe to his parents. I will say, as I stated earlier, the terrifying potential reality now that we hit the 3rd week, it's unspeakable. I know it's on everybody's minds, but let's pray and let's focus our energy on getting Dylan home safe and alive. All right. I am so thankful that Larry came by and spoke to me about this and shared with me what was going on. I thank you, Larry, because we got to get the word out. We've got to get the word out. I know there's quite a few channels actually now that are starting to cover this. I'm just a teeny tiny, humble, homesteading, gardening channel. I'm not an armchair detective. I'm not a search and rescue person. If I am able to get up there, I will be there in a heartbeat, a moment's notice. If I'm able to, I will be up there and help out in the search however I possibly can. We gotta get him home. Share this, please. Go and follow the channels that I linked in here. Definitely go and check out Larry's channel, Eminence Front X5. Go check him out. We gotta get Dylan home. We gotta do whatever we possibly can. Thank you. I love you all. God bless you all. Stay safe. Say a prayer for Dylan and his family. I'm probably gonna go shed a couple more tears and pray again, and then pray again, and then try to get some sleep because it is now 4:04 a.m. And then I'm going to pray again, and I'm going to do whatever I can, like I hope all of you will do. Look at someone close by to you. They could go missing so easy. It is terrifying. Good night. Please share this with family, friends, share it wherever. I also just want to throw out there, if anybody has any information, please call the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office. That number is right here on screen. Or call Elko County Sheriff's Department. That is right here on screen. You can also call the FBI Tip Hotline. That's right here on the screen. Reach out and contact. Whatever information you might think is teeny or tiny or insignificant, you don't know. You don't know. Please forgive me. I am a teeny tiny upstarting channel. Forgive the quality of this video. Forgive the editing. Please. I'm just trying to get the word out about Dylan. Go follow all of these channels. Get whatever information you can possibly get. All of these people are amazing. Their hearts are in it. They truly just want to get Dylan home safely. Get his family some peace with having their son home, please. So go follow all of them. Give them likes. Give them shares. Show them love. Do whatever you can possibly do. I love all of you. Bless all of you. Good night.